So the Corporate Transparency Act, it is a federal law that is run by the Department of Treasury. It requires registration of certain information for many corporations in Minnesota, in the entire country. So you have to register the name and address of any business, and you have to identify the name, address, date of birth, and identifying number of any beneficial owner. So a beneficial owner is anyone who owns more than 25% of the corporation or exercises substantial control over the corporation. Now you might be saying, well, we're an HOA, what are you talking about? An HOA is a non-profit corporation. It is still a corporation under the law. You are members of the board of directors of a company that's job is to maintain property values and maintain the property itself. So, assuming this act doesn't somehow exclude HOAs eventually, which we hope it will, but as it sits now, it does not. The Corporate Transparency Act will require every association to provide a name, address, date of birth, and identifying number, a driver's license number, a passport number, for every member of the board, and anyone who owns more than 25% of the community. That's going to be rare. The situations where you'll see that most likely are a 4-unit community where everybody owns a quarter, or a 3-unit community where everybody owns a third. Probably in those situations, those people are also on the board anyways. Why did they do this? This was developed by the federal government to help combat terrorism and money laundering and drug cartels, all of those sorts of things. So the thinking is the government has access to all of the people who control the corporation, and therefore can use that to help, trace and find money and problems. Who does it apply to? It's going to apply to most corporations. Minnesota HOAs, as I said, are nonprofit corporations. As it sits today, this applies to all HOAs. That said, it doesn't apply to your HOA just yet. The only HOAs this applies to right now are any HOAs that were created after January 1st, of 2024. Those HOAs are required to, jump through the corporate transparency hoops within 90 days of being created. My partner Evan has already done this for a handful of, he works with some developer clients. He's already done this for those developers when they create a new HOA in 2024. He goes through, he gets the name, the date of birth, the identifying number, and you go into the website and you register them. For existing HOAs, there is a current deadline of January 1st, 2025. So we've got a couple more months before anyone's going to have to do anything about this. Kind of our position as a firm is this applies to HOAs. We hope it gets changed, so we're not doing anything other than educating for now. So right now, we're just going around and making sure people understand this might be a thing come January. The hope is that the legislature or someone in the government changes it and excludes HOAs. Because honestly, with the number of HOAs, not just in this state, but in the entire country, this would be horribly problematic, because not only is it all HOAs, but every single time you have a change in the board, you have to go and re-register this. So if you've got someone who quits the board, if you get someone who's appointed to the board, when you have an election, you have to go through and update this information. And if you don't, there are civil and criminal penalties for it, to the tune of thousands of dollars. Logistically, it's a disaster if it applies to HOAs, so our hope is that someone is able to get in front of the right person. I know CAI, Community Association Institute, which is a national HOA organization. I was actually just at their national conference last week and listened to a presentation about that. Everybody in the industry is advocating to try to get HOAs exempt from this because it doesn't make sense and it's going to present a problem for us. The big problem I see from a practical perspective perspective is this is going to have a chilling effect on the volunteerism we see within our HOAs. You guys probably already struggle getting volunteers to serve on your board. And if I tell you, hey, by the way, welcome to the board, Kathleen, I need your driver's license so I can give it to the federal government, that's going to have a chilling effect on that. So our hope is that this goes away before it comes into effect. So it's literally through a website. It's a portal. You log in. There's no fee. It takes a few minutes, and you just sign in and say, I am doing this on behalf of Platypus Meadows. We have, Lynn Bergerhoff as a board member. He was born January 1st. And we've got Mark, who's a board member. He was born January 2nd. And their driver's license numbers are blah, blah, XYZ. There was a case out of Arkansas, Alabama, somewhere in the South, in federal court that did challenge this. That court found the law unconstitutional. I've read that opinion. I think it's wrong and it's going to get overturned. Regardless, it only applies to those specific plaintiffs. So even though the court said this law is unconstitutional, it says, yeah, but we're only going to say it doesn't apply to these 5 people. Everybody else it still applies for now.